This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Tonight on The South Today, the Emmy Awards come to Dunedin as a local company celebrates its third trophy. Two Dunedin jewellery partners are looking to new challenges after 20 years of working together. And Otago residents can look forward to gaining a new perspective on their backyard with some trial Scenic tourist flights. Kia ora, good evening, I'm Dave Gooselink. The Emmy Awards came to Dunedin last night as computer graphics company Animation Research celebrated its third trophy. The 42nd Sports Emmys were held online back in June, but the safe arrival here of the famous trophy prompted some glitzy celebrations. A red carpet fit for the stars. Dunedin company Animation Research pulling out all the stops to celebrate their latest Emmy. They won the George Wenstall Technical Achievement Award after developing revolutionary ball and player tracking technology for Major League Baseball in the United States.
MLB has been collecting data for years of every pitch, every movement of everybody on the field, and hasn't really had a way to show it.
2 years ago, a team including graphics guru John Rendell impressed bosses at Fox Sports and MLB with a concept demo to gain their first MLB contract.
It's like about the 30 years work that's gone into making it possible for us to do all the amazing stuff that we do now as a company.
And last season, the Dunedin crew put more than 8,500 bits of graphics to air as part of Major League Baseball's TV coverage.
So we gave them a way to show them, you know, everything that happens on the pitch from a virtual camera that we can zoom in, we can show anything we like, we can, you know, compare home runs across games, across grounds, we can see what the players are doing. The Sports Emmy Awards were held online back in June due to COVID restrictions.
And the Emmy goes to MLB Network Showcase. StatCast 3D MLB Network.
Would also like to thank Animation Research out of New Zealand. They're one of our technical partners on this project who just did an amazing job with us.
Their physical Emmy statue only recently arriving in Dunedin, prompting this glitzy red carpet event to celebrate with the whole team. ARL founder Sir Ian Taylor beaming in from his self-managed isolation in Auckland for the Dowling Street Emmy Awards.
There is only one finalist, and it's us.
Baseball's a huge deal in the States. Thousands of MLB games are played each year, with the ARL team creating detailed graphics for all 31 stadiums. Self-described baseball freak Simon Chattington has been driving the project. Craig McNaughton, the man who wrote the StatCast program that generates the 3D graphics, emotional to be able to celebrate alongside his family.
This is our third Emmy, so we've won one for America's Cup, one for golf, and now one for baseball.
The bubble's that much sweeter for McNaughton's first dedicated project. The Emmy, another endorsement for Animation Research, with the MLB committing to a long-term future with the team. In Dunedin, The South Today. The University of Otago is forecasting a $4.7 million deficit for next year. The tertiary institution is blaming rising construction and staffing costs as the reason behind the predicted shortfall. International student numbers are also forecast to be about half the number they were 2 years ago. That represents a decline in tuition income of more than $16 million. One of the biggest issues flagged in the university's budget is the rising cost of construction, with the university in the process of building a new residential college. 5 people have been hurt too seriously in a 3-vehicle crash near Lake Pukaki this afternoon. A spokeswoman for St John said emergency services were called to the crash on Tekapau Twizel Road just after midday. A Fire and Emergency New Zealand spokeswoman says 2 people trapped in a vehicle had been freed. Another 2 with serious injuries were flown by helicopter to Christchurch Hospital. 1 person with moderate injuries was taken to Timaru Hospital by ambulance, with 2 others with minor injuries treated at the scene. Invercargill residents will get the chance to explore their wider backyard next month with some trial scenic tourist flights. Departing from Invercargill Airport, the flights are set to take in some spectacular southern Fiordland scenery and even a landing at Manapori.
Preparing to fly in a new direction, Queenstown-based company Air Milford is set to trial tourist flights out of Invercargill Airport. Operations Manager Anthony Sproul says when borders closed and international tourists were unable to travel around, the company had to adapt. It sees domestic tourism as a possible way of making good use of its fleet of 5 multi-million-dollar aircraft.
Now with the borders being closed, we have to rethink our model, and of course there's a large push to the domestic market. That was just over 5% of our market beforehand.
Air Milford will trial 3 scenic flights out of Invercargill in mid-December, flying across Western Southland and over various fjords. The trip will include a stop at Manapori Airport before heading back to Invercargill. With its fleet of planes currently sitting idle for much of the time, the company also looked into flying freight. But Sproul says, despite a lot of investigation and meetings, nothing came to fruition. But the trial of scenic flights out of Invercargill is being used as a starting point for future ventures. If successful, the company will look at doing similar flights over other southern areas, such as the Catlins or Stewart Island. In Invercargill and Queenstown, the South Today.
Models and fashion students alike spent a day strutting their stuff and filming it for an online fashion showcase. Rather than the usual runway show, Year 3 and postgrad fashion students have been flaunting their fashion in front of the cameras this week. Their designs are an eclectic mix featuring everything from Gothic-inspired outfits through to a maternity line. The students' designs will feature in 2 live screenings at Otago Polytech next Friday. They're part of the Polytech's wider student showcase, which has been reworked to fit in with COVID guidelines and restrictions. And the 2021 Fashion Graduate Collections Showcase will be aired here on Channel 39 at 8 p.m. on Friday, November the 19th, or you can watch it online at odt.co.nz. A well-known Dunedin jewellery workshop is shutting its doors. Law Jewellery has been operating in the city for more than 20 years, but its operators have now decided it's time to embark on new challenges.
Collaborating for more than 20 years, Anne Cully and Rainer Banneker have been crafting inside Lure Jewellery's studio space in Stewart Street for more than 2 decades. Collaborating with fellow jewellers was Cully's inspiration to set up the workshop all those years ago.
Originally I set Lure up in 1995 as a jewellery workshop and a gallery. And so I invited other jewellers to send work to me, and so I exhibited their work and sold their work.
Before joining Lure Jewellery, Banneker had his own studio in central Otago, but loved the atmosphere Cully had created.
I very much enjoyed being here and having contact with the customers that we can actually sell it to. It's quite a different life.
And other jewellers too.
And other jewellers.
Yeah.
The pair have now decided the time has come to close up and move on. Cully will continue crafting jewellery from her home studio, while Banneker plans to return to central Otago to develop his creative work in a studio there. In Dunedin, the South Today.
Ifaya Akane still to come on the South Today, the disadvantages of procrastination, and a young bard prepares to treat the boards at London's Globe Theatre.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
Every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
John's doubled down for Singles Day. For the 11th of the 11th, he's taken 22% off everything. Singles Day double down this weekend at My Mate John.
And My Mate John.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
I think the best thing about it is we're all there to ride safely and deliver that message to, some of the kids that are out there, hopefully showcase that riders and drivers can integrate together. So yeah, it's just being part of sharing that message really of riding safely when you're out on the road.
No mai, hoki mai, welcome back. New research shows if you want to get something done, deadlines aren't necessarily the answer. An Otago University study found that for voluntary tasks, having a one-week deadline or none at all was actually beneficial. Study volunteers were invited to complete an online survey in which a donation goes to charity. Responses to the survey varied depending on the deadline given. The highest responses came from a deadline 1 week away or no deadline at all. Professor Stephen Knowles believes the reason for the low response to a longer month-long deadline is because it gives people permission to procrastinate. Backers of the proposed multi-million-dollar film studio on the outskirts of Wanaka will learn just before Christmas if it can go ahead. Silverlight Studios is expecting to hear in the second week of December whether it has a fast-track resource consent to start its $280 million development. The studio will be close to some of the same scenery used in the Lord of the Rings and Mission Impossible films. An announcement was scheduled for last week, but travel restrictions and questions about Wanaka's housing crisis meant the consenting panel needed more time. Most of the panel do plan to visit the Corbridge Estates development site at the end of this month. Young Dunedin actor Daniel Honey recently performed prose penned by Shakespeare in front of a crowd in Wellington. But little did he know that his performance in that competition was set to take him to the home of Shakespeare in the UK.
But lo, what career from a Year 12 student blossoms?
I was part of the Sheila Wynne Shakespeare Festival for 2021, and so that is basically a national competition from schools all around New Zealand, where we all perform either a 5-minute or a 15-minute Shakespeare scene.
Year 12 pupil Daniel Honey gave such a sweet performance of William Shakespeare's work, he's been selected to travel to London as part of an elite group of young actors.
And so 24 people from there would be selected to be part of the YSC, which is the Young Shakespeare Company, which is going to London next year in July.
The King's High School pupil has succeeded in a long run of local and national Shakespeare competitions and is excited by the prospect of performing in London. He could have gone to the UK last year after falling for the works of William Shakespeare, but the plague played its fickle part.
I actually fell in love with Shakespeare last year when doing a scene with my brother, also for the Shakespeare competition, where we did a gravedigger scene from, I think, Hamlet, but I'm not entirely sure on that one. It's one of them. And so we won the regional competition in that scene, but unfortunately could not go to nationals due to COVID restrictions.
He says the Globe Theatre is one of the most famous acting theatres in the world and is looking forward to the privilege of performing there. Daniel Honey is due to tread the famous boards in July 2022. In Dunedin, the South Today.
If I Akene, after the break on the South Today, children's art heads online in Port Chalmers, and there's bad news on your weekend weather front.
MTF Finance can help you turn the key on your next vehicle with a loan made just for you. TCs and lending criteria apply.
Hi, my name's Matt and I'm the Dines Group CEO. Dines is a company that's focused on selling logistics solutions to its customers. We're passionate about selling efficiency and we've been selling efficiency for over 50 years now.
Every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
Just plan your route a little bit, choose nice and quiet roads. In the winter it's always nice to ride north and south, that way you get the driest route and less likely to hit black ice.
John's doubled down for Singles Day. For the 11th of the 11th, he's taken 22% off everything. Singles Day double down. Fit out your bachelor pad, upgrade that single bed, or just treat yourself to some new furniture this weekend at My Mate John. Singles Day double down. 22% off everything. This weekend only at John's Furniture Warehouse, Stafford Street.
Where did you get that furniture from? Stafford Street. And My Mate John.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
Nor mai hoki mai, welcome back. Port Chalmers may not see children's artwork parading through their streets for an end of school year event, but there will still be an art spectacle in Port Chalmers. Children and early learners are busy constructing their little creations, which will feature in an online exhibition. The creations are usually showcased along Port Chalmers roads, but due to COVID-19 precautions, this year's display will be video only. There'll be about 150 handmade artworks representing what lives on the forest floor, all constructed from recycled materials. The video is expected to be online by the end of next week. And now, recapping tonight's top stories on The South Today. The Emmy Awards descended upon Dunedin last night as local computer graphics company Animation Research celebrated their third Sports Emmy. And after operating 20 years in Dunedin, Jewellery is shutting its doors with its owners embarking on new challenges. And new trial Scenic tourist flights will begin next month, giving Invercargill residents the chance to explore a little more of their own backyard. And now time for a look at the weekend weather.
Tonight's weather proudly brought to you by Mole Map.
Looking at the situation, most people will have found today a little sweltering, but it'll be cold in the far south tomorrow, although milder in the north of the region. Rain from a low pressure system in the Tasman Sea is sweeping across from the ranges. Looking at what's in store for the southern towns, Catlins, Balclutha, Lumsden and Gore are all in for light easterlies with some rain and a high of 13 degrees. Travelling westwards to the southern central lakes, everyone here can expect light northerlies with rain. It'll be 18 degrees in Wanaka and Alexandra, 17 in Queenstown, and Te Anau can expect a high of 13 degrees. Looking at the weather up north, along the coast there'll be variable winds with some rain. Timaru's high is 17 and 15 in Oamaru. Inland at Twizel and Omarama, there'll be light northerlies with rain and a high of 18 degrees. In Dunedin, it will be dry with some cloud tonight and an overnight low of 14 degrees. Tomorrow's set to be overcast with periods of rain developing in the morning and much colder moderate east to southeast winds developing. A high of 14 and a low of 10. It'll be overcast and cold on Sunday with light showers, moderate easterly winds, a high of 13 and a low of 10. And for those of you in Invercargill tonight, you'll see showers clearing with southwesterlies dying out and an overnight low of 11 degrees. It'll be overcast with periods of rain tomorrow and moderate easterly winds developing, a high of 12 and a low of 10. And it's set to be cloudy with showers and freshening southwesterlies on Sunday, a high of 12 and a low of 9 degrees. And that's the South Today for this week. For the latest news from the southern region, head online to odt.co.nz and you can follow Channel 39 on Facebook and YouTube. Ka kite anō.
This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear. Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.